welcome. I know everything looks a little odd, but as I've told a few people, today we're going rogue. There's no television behind me, so we're doing all of this from here. So I want to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church, which includes our congregation up in Birmingham and our congregation here, and of course there are folks that are online. And we are posting online today. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. To all who are here this morning, welcome home. I want to draw your attention to announcements that might be in our order of service. Please also pay attention to announcements that come to you online, either in the form of a Newsnet blast, our e-blast, or our newsletter. We have a few announcements, or I have a few announcements, and then I'll see if there's any from the floor. We're going to have, I hope you've been noticing that we're doing more activities now. We're going to be having a movie afternoon here at the church. We're changing the time to see if that can accommodate a few people rather than having it here at night. So it's going to be on April 15th at 3 o'clock, and we're going to show Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now I hear it's kind of a weird one, so bring your safety belt with you. Also bring your own popcorn and pillows and blankets. And we had a fun time the last time we had people. I think we had 9 people here to see the movie. Also, our dinner out is going to be at Lele's next time. That'll be at 6 p.m. and I believe it's the 28th. What? Okay. So we'll be doing that. Also, I want to draw your attention to the fact that I'm going to be leading a book reading in April and May. We're going to look at the book called Just Mercy. And then probably in early June, we're going to plan a trip, maybe with Birmingham joining us, down to Montgomery to the museum that's down there. So that will be at 6 p.m. On the last week of April, and then I think the second week of May, but I'll send that out in an e-blast tomorrow. Are there any other announcements from the floor? All right, Shampa?
Alice Parker's birthday I'm kind of confused yesterday. And I have a card for her from the folder.
Thank you, Shampa. Karen?
Yeah, and it's time to update our directory. So if I haven't seen you, please find me and take a look at the information so we can correct.
All right, thank you. Any other announcements? All righty. All right. The prelude prepares us for some worship. Thank you, Ken. Please rise in body or spirit for the lighting of the chalice. When it feels like lament is the only sound and need the only way of being, here is that one warm room where you know you belong. You know it is waiting, open, and ready. Here is that place you remember where you are remembered in this too cold world. This place now, it calls softly. Come into the circle where you know that you belong. We light our chalice in honor of this place where we belong. And sometimes it's harder than others. Thank you. In the spirit of inclusivity around your little table, can you introduce yourselves? And then please be seated. Thank you. Our opening words this morning are as follows. There is nothing you need to bring to be welcome here. No right beliefs or proof of citizenship, no eternal optimism or clarity of conviction, no boundless courage or endless expertise. You do not need to know what brought you here or how you will solve that problem that you are turning over and over and over in your mind. Your bills do not need to be paid, and your checkbook can be a mess. Your children may have been up half the night. Your hearing aids may not be working, and your knees may be creaking. You do not need to be already perfect, or even halfway perfect, to belong in this circle where grace meets us where we are, but does not leave us as it found us. Where love resides in each of us is somehow more than all, where life still pulses and rages and heals and transforms, creating us and this day anew once again. Come, let us worship together. Our opening hymn is number 188 in the gray hymnals in front of you. 188. And why don't we just stay seated and sing? Shall we do this as a round?
Yes.
All right. Deb, can you come up and help? We'll just do two, we'll break into two. So let's go these three tables and these two tables, all right? So you guys are one and we are two. So we're going to sing it all the way through once, then come back and start the round?
Play it through once.
Okay, we'll play it through once, we'll sing it through once, then we'll do the round.
And we know that we did this last week, but we're going to get it right.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect. We'll have to do that again. We're going to need some strict instruction. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change the world for the better. If this is your first time here, please let the plate pass. We're just so glad you're joining us. We share our cash plate every Sunday with an organization whose work reflects our UU values and care for marginalized people, advocate for real and systematic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Thank you for your generous support of our church. By the work of our hands and the intentions of our hearts, our love is made real. When we gather in loving community, we remember that we do not travel this earth alone. We share our lives as we light candles and hold each other in meditative thought. We invite you now to come forward and light a candle from the common flame. You may do so in silence, or speaking loudly, you may give your name and a brief milestone from your life. Please come forward.
My name is Shampa Dada, and I'm lighting a candle of thanks for everybody's good wishes. I have had a big loss in my life, my brother, but I'm back here with you all. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Buda, one of the resident astronomers here. But what I have to say has nothing to do with astronomy. In about a week and 2 weeks or so, maybe 3, my youngest brother is going to come to visit me. His name is Nick, and he's a staunch conservative versus every other member of my family around here who isn't that. And but in spite of that, I think we'll get along okay because he and I have always been great friends. We've done things together, and he's staying for 8 days, and I figured that we could get along quite well. But whether anyone will try to argue in favor of any particular thing is pointless anyway. So I think we'll do okay. He's not coming to try and convince me or my daughters and my wife to vote a different way. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be interesting to see what it's like because I haven't experienced something like this too often.
My name is Denise. This is for my cat, who is 12 years old, who died of a tumor. And I've been struggling with her loss and with the guilt of thinking I could have done more to have saved her. And my wonderful husband keeps telling me I did everything that I could do.
And I want to light a candle because of a sound in this room. That is the sound of children. I'm so happy to hear that sound. Welcome home. I light this final candle for all of those joys and concerns that still weigh heavy on our heart. Know that these white lights and our love go out to you. Please join me for just a moment, and in the spirit of meditation, followed by a moment of silence. Today's meditation comes from our teal hymnal. I'm going to read you the words. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Amen, and blessed be. As I said, we're going rogue. We have no TV behind us. So I'm going to talk just a little bit. In a couple of weeks, it will be time for our pledges to be turned in, Many of them have already been turned in the lobby. There's a little box there for your pledge. And this is our stewardship celebration today. Hopefully our food will arrive soon. I'm watching. So I just have a little to say here. Our lives take us over the roads of ups and downs. Sometimes we notice when our paths join with others or when they diverge. Sometimes we don't. The landscape shifts as we learn new skills, live through challenges, the world changes, or we change. We don't always notice when we've moved into new territory. Sometimes, though, we come to a place where we have to make a choice to go one way or another. It can be an obstacle. It can be a crossroads, a mysterious gateway that stands in our path. That choice point could be a bridge, a pathway that takes us decidedly to a different place on the other side of what may be a divide. This is one of the most important moments in our congregational year, the time we offer our pledges to uphold our values and promise the continuation of this congregation. When I first came to this congregation back in the 1990s, I did not have a lot of money to give. I had time. But when I could, I started making monthly pledges to uphold this church because it meant and continues to mean so much to me. You may have heard me call my pledge in the past a utility bill. Just like my electric, gas, and water bill, the pledge I make to this congregation each month is part of who I am and a part of my daily life. If I don't pay my electric bill, I'm in the dark. If I don't pay my pledge bill, something is missing. I know it's hard for some, but just a little helps go a long way. Sometimes time and energy is all you can give. I do not want to make this short homily about me, although I'm part of this church in so many ways. This is a small talk about us. This congregation is made of many people, not just one person. We are separate and collective in our coming together. We are a community that shares values, shares stories, combines stories, supports each other, asks for help from each other, and has a vision for a future going forward into what may be troubled times or not. My wish is for us as a congregation is that we look forward to new adventures and hold the past memories close to our hearts and share those memories with fondness and joy. There may be things yet unresolved here in our midst, and I want us to try and hold those things alongside hope and excitement for the future. There are unfinished conversations, as there are always between humans. Don't let that stop you from fully investing and believing in what can be possible when this whole congregation works together. Be as generous as you can with your time, your resources, and your renewal of spirit. Our theme for this year's stewardship is connecting the dots. Each one of you represents a dot in that large piece of art. Some are larger than others, some are tiny, but each dot is important to the final picture. A single dot can be interesting, but when you join it with another, it becomes a story, and another adds to that story until the story is larger than any one dot, and the depth offers a strong narrative about the space we take up here in Central Alabama. We are in the middle of a journey here at UUCT. We were scared for a while back there that it might be the end of the road for us. And we did what we were good at. We reached out for help, knowing that we can always stand alone and that standing with somebody else who shares our values and experiences is far stronger. We reached out to the Universalist Church, Unitarian Universalist Church of Birmingham, and they reached back to stand with us and hold us up. We are forming a wonderful, exciting, and enjoyable bond with them as a church, as individuals, as like minds who are on the same journey. They have been a sort of bridge to the future. We have reached out to Grace Presbyterian Church here in town, and we've also found welcoming hands coming back to us. Our friends at Grace are going through a rough moment right now as they're looking for a new minister. Yet they continue to reach out to us. The bridge widens for us, and those connecting dots come into focus, and we see out in front of us a more certain road. The next thing about crossing a bridge is that it helps when we have someone to trust in that bridge itself. There are things we can remember that give us confidence in that transition. This is a leader-filled congregation, a community that boasts abundant talent and a commitment that forms its members. Think about how many total volunteer hours go into sustaining this congregation from week to week. Committee meetings, volunteers showing up for cleanup days, religious education classes, learning together, Sunday coffee and cookies, welcoming us with hospitality, musicians and choir members, rehearsing and performing, and so many more. I have every confidence that the abundance of time and talent sustaining your shared ministries will continue throughout this transition. The core of human connection is vital. And in this congregation, it's strong enough to hold us as we cross the bridge. Some of us have been here for a long while, and others are new to the group. In order to make those connections, we need to constantly feed those connections. In a few moments, I'm going to ring the gong, and at each table we've placed many strips of fabric like these. See these fabric strips? All right, and I ask that you take one or two, maybe three of them, and then for 7 or 8 minutes that I planned for this event, I want you to go around the table and share maybe 3 things about you that others may not know. This may be a heritage that you have that we don't know about. Perhaps you're Irish or Gypsy. It may be that you long to be an artist or a singer. It might be that you would like to risk your life to save a puppy in a river. We may not know that you are the best winemaker in town, or that you like to dance outside in the dark. We want to connect our dots, connect your hearts, and connect our futures together in this time of stewardship, which we usually think involves money, and it does. But it also involves our hearts and our minds. Here are a few things about me that you didn't know. I hate speaking in front of people. But I'm a good actress. I'm also terrified of heights. If you and I were up on top of something very high, I would have to work very hard to trust that you're not going to push me off. And finally, I'm writing a book. Who knows if it'll ever be published, but it has been fun to tell the stories about my life growing up around the world. So on the tables in front of you are those strips. I ask you to think about who you are, tie them together, and let's make a chain. All right? As you share your 3 personal bits of information, we will create a chain that we will collect at the end and join them all together. We are making a chain, connecting the dots and joining together our future. Ready, set, go. I know you may not be finished, but we will have food shortly and you can finish up. But look at this. We have connected so many dots and so many things. I appreciate you playing the game with me. There's more, and we'll add those in here in a few minutes. Thank you. Let us go forward into this new year with new excitement about our future, which sometimes seems blurry, but is out there in front of us nonetheless. Let us connect with each other and hold each other in love and fellowship. Let us connect those dots going forward. Our closing hymn is number 305 in the gray hymnal. 305, De Caloris. Of course we would sing that song. So let's sing all the verses. 305. Yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all of its flowers. All the colors. When the sun shines after the rain from the falling showers. All the colors. As a rainbow appears when the storm clouds is touched by the sun. All the colors of the rainbow. The sun. Yes, the colors of people parading above their banners. All the colors. Yes, the colors of friends and strangers and fools and bananas. All the colors. Yes, the colors of people now turning their face in the sun. All the colors of the sun. Yes, the black and the white and the red and the brown and the yellow. All the colors of people who smile and shake hands and say hello. All the colors, yes, the colors of people who run out and the others go. All the colors of the sun. We made it through. May we have the courage to open ourselves to the pleasures and wounds of life. May we have the strength to be open and honest with ourselves and others when it is difficult. May we have the wisdom to understand that when we travel through the midst of uncertainty, openness and vulnerability make it possible to find the way through that mist. To be open and vulnerable is to be alive. Our service is ended. Thank you so much, Ken. And if I could ask one person at each table to gather up the hymnals and set them off.